Hello everybody, I got my new controller in the mail the other day, so I thought I'd test it out straight away. So today we are playing Braid, as you know, you probably wouldn't have been able to guess from the title being right there. It's a puzzle platformer, developed by an independent software developer called Jonathan Blow, and it's all about time and stuff. So I'm just going to show you the first couple of worlds. There's a bit of storyline gumph there. You feel free to pause and read through that if you want to. I didn't want to just take ages on there in case you weren't that interested. And to be honest, the storyline of Braid is really like wibbly-wobbly and doesn't quite make sense. The long and short of it is you're saving a princess, but it's way more complicated than that. But it gives it to you in like subtle hints, so there's never any real. There's loads and loads of different like translations as to what it's all about and stuff, but I'll let you guys to work that out for yourself should you play it. Gameplay is very simple on a base level, as you can see, just running around, jumping about and stuff, and you collect puzzle pieces. You have to collect all the puzzle pieces across 6 worlds to unlock the final world. You can, if you want to, just skip puzzles. There's no... This is where the game differs from normal games that you've seen. You don't actually die, and the main mechanic that makes this game unique is the fact that you can reverse time. So yeah, when you catastrophically cack up like I do, you can just reverse it and pretend like it never happened, which is perfect for me. I wish you could do it in every video game. But yeah, this is just the first level showing you the basic ins and outs and stuff. This game it's very short. I completed it in just a few hours. If you like infuriating hours, it does get very complicated at times. But like the nature of the puzzles and stuff involve you being able to do this whole time manipulation. But let's see again, and I can just like, oh, what spikes? What flaming spikes of death? Nothing. I just got the puzzle piece and nothing happened. It's all good. See, this guy's running around and jumping and stuff. His name's Tim. It's a generic protagonist name. Yeah, so this is pretty much, I mean, it gets more complicated than this obviously, but there are just enemies that walk around. It's very simplistic. I'm going to try and like distract you from as much as possible from this level, so you don't see me cack up immensely. A lot of the levels are very similar across different worlds, but because there are different things in place that make them more complicated, you have to think differently to solve them. So I was thinking about 3 worlds ahead when I did this one, and as a result I completely ballsed it up. Because to access that puzzle piece you've got to kill all 6 of the enemies, and yeah, it just... well, yeah. As you can probably tell in the background, the sound is like really calm, really serene, quite it's really nice, and the art style is just immense. I mean, look at it. It looks like it's been painted. It really does. And that's yeah, the style just seems to like flow really nicely, and the animations are really slick. Check that out. Just yeah, try and look as the art style as possible and ignore how bad they are. I thought I was going through the first few levels and I was like, yeah, I'm totally bad. Look at this. I open the door and I'm just like, okay. But this gives me an example to show you. You can increase the speed at which you reverse time. So if you do immensely cack up to the point where you can't complete it, you can just go straight back to the beginning again. It's not a big deal. So yeah, just I think hopefully I'll do a bit better this time around. As you can probably tell, I've played this already and recorded it, and I'm doing my voiceover afterwards, because after the immense amount of flailing that I did at the Binding of Isaac one, yeah, I thought I'd be a bit more prepared for this. So yeah, basically each world, in all of the worlds, Tim can reverse time. That's the constant. Tim can reverse time. There are enemies. There are puzzle pieces. That's it. But every world introduces a new element that makes it more complicated and kind of changes the way you have to think about things. The game is incredibly simple. You can get through all 6 of the regular worlds in minutes. And I think there are only a couple of puzzles that you have to do to be able to complete the level. But even then, those ones are extremely simple. But of course, you can't finish the game unless you do the harder puzzles and pick up all the puzzle pieces, which is, you know, there's a mechanic to that which I'll show you later on. Have I done it now, or no? I was just ball aching over this one, like no one will believe. This was a point where I thought I'd leave and come back in again, and then try to surreptitiously cut it, so you wouldn't see any of that happen. You know, do a proper Tim Braid, like, reversal of time thing. But I thought, maybe not. Because you guys like watching me fail, let's face it. You enjoy my pain! Yeah, I don't really have that many gripes with this game. I have a couple. One, a very simple one is, I am a very like story-driven gamer, and as a result I like to have like story properly thrown in my face. And I guess the simplistic style in which it was displayed, finally did it. Yeah, the simplistic style in which the storyline was displayed really didn't do it for me. And like I completed the game, and I was still just like, whoa. Like I appreciate things being left open to interpretation, but it was just completely like, what? What just happened? You know? So there was that, and then the only other problem that I have with it is you'll probably see a couple of examples of it. I'll point at it if I spot one. But there are points where, like, if you die, you end up getting stuck because you won't reverse time quite enough. So you'll end up just jumping straight back into the point where you die, and it will just happen over and over again. And you can very easily get stuck unless you hold the button down for a while to finish the motion, as it were. But as you can see, that's time travel working to your advantage there. You can just reverse the same event over and over again and keep doing it until you get it right. Just like this. It's possibly staying there. Just reverse time all the way back up and bang, that's mine. The enemies don't really get more complicated than this. There's one other enemy that shows up later on, and a boss character. That's kind of it. But the enemies aren't supposed to be there as an immediate threat because you can't die. So, oh yeah, they're the Piranha Plant rip-offs as well. But yeah, because you can't die, there's no point in making an enemy that's like a big threat, because you can just reverse time until you win. So they're more just there to, like, as a vehicle to move the puzzles along. They're just like implements for you to help you solve the puzzle. So I just completed the first world with most of the puzzle pieces. I skipped a few, but maybe, you know, I'm not going to make it too easy for you. Here's World 3. This is where things start to get a little bit more interesting, because it introduces a different element, which you'll see pretty much straight away. So you will have noticed in the first world there were parts where you had a key in a door. So this first level, you'll notice that the key has this green aura around it, and so's the door. And what this effectively means is that both the key and the door aren't affected by the reversal of time. They will just follow a normal timeline. Which means that when you reverse time, you don't let go of the key. It follows you because it's still moving forwards when you're moving backwards. So, an example of this again, there's a bit of a lag spike here, but fortunately it doesn't last too long. And speed it. So yeah, you just go all the way up here, avoiding the enemies and stuff, grab the key, and then after fannying about for a second, you can reverse, and you don't drop again, fannying about for a second. There you go, you can reverse, but you're still holding the key. Because normally, if you didn't have that green aura, you'd drop it, because the key's moving backwards as well. So that's really cool, and there are other, like, it gives you more examples of different things. So like these clouds here, moving platforms, these ones have a green aura as well. So what you have to do is fiddle around with time, and then the clouds that don't have the aura will move backwards, and the ones that do will move forwards, so you can create a path for yourself. And it's just little things like that that are really, really cool. Kind of forces you to think a bit differently, because it's not just as simple as reversing time. I think that would be a bit too easy. But I still managed to just completely balls it up at first. Come on, Tim. Sort it out. And I know I'm blaming him for like my own mistakes, but shh. Okay. What else? What else can I say about this, really, apart from just commentating what's going on while I try desperately to do it properly? There are like other things that happen later on. Like, for example, I think it's World 4 is really interesting because the direction you're moving affects the flow of time. So if you're moving to the right, time will flow forwards. If you're moving to the left, time will flow backwards. That world gets really complicated. So that hunt level where there were the 6 enemies that I had to kill to carry on, I was thinking that I was in World 4, where you have to kill the enemy at the top first, and then work your way down, because by going to the left, that enemy comes back, but then going to the right kills it again, and you have to kind of get yourself into a position where they're all dead at the same time. Here's another example of using, like, these green auras mean I flip the switch, the platform moves across, but of course now if I reverse time, the platform won't move again, as you can see there. And I think I do manage to use it to complete the level, because then, you know, reverse time until the enemy comes back, he grabs the key for me and brings it through. What a legend. You know, they're not really enemies, they're just in an unfortunate situation. So yeah, flip the switch back and bang! I'll show you some complicated and fun jiggery-pokery with those keys in a bit as well. There's some cool stuff that you can do later on when they mix up the stuff that has green auras with the stuff that doesn't. Another thing that shows up in World 5, I believe, are items with purple auras. And basically what they do is, whenever you reverse time, a shadow of Tim gets created, and that shadow will follow whatever action you did before reversing time. Anything with a purple aura can interact with purple, you know, a shadow can interact with. So say if that lever had a purple aura, I could walk up to it, pull the lever, pull it back, and then reverse time to where I'm in a position where pulling the lever would be advantageous, and then the shadow will pull the lever for me. So yeah, and then they start to mix it all up, so you end up with green stuff and purple stuff and just yeah. Is this me completely cacking up the puzzle again? Because, like, watching myself do it is, there we go, yeah. So of course, because your position doesn't matter, you can just hover in the air, if so be. And I had no idea how to get back when it's just so simple as just reverse time, you numpty. Because I was worried. I didn't realise that the puzzle piece has a green aura around it as well. Because if it didn't, what that would mean is if you reverse to a point past getting the puzzle piece would return to where it was, and you'd, like, as if you hadn't collected it. That can be really annoying at times, but it's what gives the game its difficulty level. This game is hard if you don't know what you're doing. Like, I ran through it the first time and skipped loads of puzzle pieces because I just kind of walked into a room and went, "Duh!" and then just carried on. Because I was like, no, I'm not bothering with that. There's another kind of enemy. Those guys are really annoying, and you will see why in a bit. Not just because of that. There's a point which is just really frustrating. So this is kind of cool. There's a cannon there that's shooting those little bullets across. Now you may think, why is he randomly reversing time like that? But you will understand in a second when I jump across. See, the enemies there have green aura, so I'm kind of pulling the projectiles back so he doesn't die, which means I can bounce on him to grab the pistols. And then die immediately. But you see what I mean there? The puzzle piece is kind of jumping back and forth. And then loads of these little bastards pop. Look at that! That was cheeky. Stupid prana plants, but you know, natural selection at its finest there. And then more buggers show up. This is my immense platformer skills, apart from this point. Bang! Ow. Those things can get really annoying. But I inadvertently set time to be able to allow me to get this last puzzle piece. Because with that cannon destroying every other shot, I can jump up here and get the puzzle piece when normally it's impossible. But I still managed to get myself killed. And this is the kind of thing that I mean. Not going back far enough and just ending up getting owned every single point. It's probably just my stupidity and impatience, but it's a pitfall trap that's easily fallen into and extremely frustrating. Irreversible. Now, that bit is annoying because it's a puzzle piece that you can only get if you don't muck around. You can't reverse time at any point, so already you've messed it up because there's a green platform that moves up and blocks this one from going across. So if you reverse time at any point, the green platform keeps moving and it'll just block that one in place and you can't get the puzzle piece. So already I've denied myself that one. Yeah, there we go. See, I can't get that now, I'd have to restart the level. I was in no position to do that. I'm in a rush, I've got a princess to save. you know, ignoring the fact that I can't save her until... What am I doing? Yeah. I've not run out of things to say, I'm just kind of running dry a little bit. Again, I'm doing this after I finished work, so I'm just like, ugh. Oh, here's a little clever thing. So, that door's got a green aura, and that key isn't, or doesn't, should I say. So can you guess what will happen if I open the door and then reverse time? You got it. Door stays open. Key comes back. It's pretty awesome. Now with this one, obviously, the immediate idea would be to grab that key and open the door, but of course that won't work, because as soon as you reverse time, the door will just close, and that's it. There's this hidden one down here, which you can just see. And with the power of 2 keys, I can open all 3 doors. It's very nice. Yeah, overall, I really enjoyed this game. Like I say, it was short, but I think it probably couldn't be any longer. I think it would kind of outlive the novelty. Now this is annoying. What am I supposed to do about that? Just what? Really? Because now I'm trapped. If I go up there, I die. The first time, die again. But fortunately, I managed to get them to jump away, so it wasn't a complete disaster. So now I'm going to show you how the puzzle pieces work. In order to complete the game, you have to collect all the puzzle pieces. This one's still missing some, but you have to complete the puzzles. Now, one of them, I'm not going to say which, actually has something in it that you can interact with while it's at the point. So that's quite interesting. It kind of shows how you have to... Essentially, this is a game all about thinking outside the box, because you kind of have to break away from your perception of time, or kind of change the way you think about time, which can be very mind-boggling at times. I've said the word time a lot in that sentence. But yeah, especially getting to like the final levels and stuff, and the very last level is just simply infuriating, because there are some points where timing is really important, but not just like, it's the timing of everything. If you're not fast enough, there'll be a point where, it's not even if you're not fast enough, it's just if you get to the wrong place at the wrong time, there is no way that you can progress. You have to reverse all the way back to the start and go at a different pace, because there's just this one point where if you time it too slowly, you can't get through this tiny little gap, and there's something in the way, and so yeah, when you complete the puzzle, it'll be all nice, and you get achievements for doing that and stuff. There aren't many achievements for this game. There's one for completing every puzzle, there's one for completing the game, and then there's one for oh, this is a bit dangerous, look at this. You have to die to grab the key, but of course then you reverse and snatch it straight back up again. That was pretty cool, I thought. But yeah, there's a speedrun achievement as well that I haven't got yet. I don't know how well I'd be able to speedrun this game. Here's an example of the only boss in this game. He shows up twice, but he is the only boss. And once you've kind of figured it out, which I did at this point, he's pretty easy. Just like the dropping chandeliers on his head. But of course, because he's green, there's one that isn't later on. So of course, when you reverse time, the chandeliers come off his head, and he regains the health. Whereas with this one, he doesn't, because he's green and the chandelier's on, so you can just put the chandeliers back up and drop them again, as if nothing ever happened. Pow! But of course, he just moves on his normal path, so you can just keep doing that until you get it right. Bit of trial and error there. Easy, I just make it hover in the air and bang! Pretty simple stuff, really. Probably won't look at it at the time though. A lot of these puzzles seem really simple when you've done them, but like the first time I did this, I was just like, what? And then I look back on it and I'm like, how was this difficult? But I suppose that's the way with everything, isn't it? That is one thing about this as well. By doing that, you are virtually invincible, because he hits me. I'm just like, well, I suppose technically you are invincible anyway, but at one point the bullets were just passing through me. And it's like, see like that? I guess there doesn't really need to be a fatal condition for this game, because it's not really a platformer. It is a puzzle game above everything else. It's just kind of disguised as a platformer. and uses a lot of kind of the what's the word? I've completely lost the word now. Basically, it kind of uses all the different little like things that make games, platforming games, and uses that to disguise the really complicated puzzle game that you've got in front of you. And it's just, it works really well, because it kind of gives that idea of it is still an adventure. It kind of, because a lot of puzzle games, it is just complete the puzzle, move on, complete the puzzle, move on. Whereas with this, you feel like you're part of a story. I think I decided I couldn't be arsed with this puzzle because this one's very complicated, and I kind of went through this as fast as possible just so I could show you lots of variety. But yeah, at this point I think I'd had enough, because I'd already done this once before. I had to restart my game, because once you completed it once, that's it. If you want to play the levels again and collect more puzzle pieces and all that, so basically collecting the puzzle pieces is the core of the game. So without that, it isn't really up to much. You have to restart the entire thing. So that's kind of what I did. So I was just like, oh, I've done this all before. But anyway, I do believe this is the end of the playthrough. So I hope you enjoyed my recording of Braid. I'd like to think this was a slightly better playthrough than the Binding of Isaac one. That was really slapdash and haphazard, whereas I feel this one is slightly more intellectual. So let me know what you thought in the comments, and please like the video if you enjoyed it. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next, although I have been playing a lot of Super Meat Boy, so that's definitely coming up soon. So thanks for watching, and take care.